miles, 267 laps around this mile-and-a-half track. For 41 of them, nothing at stake today but going to victory lane and the race win. For two, a head-to-head fight in the final race of the season for the championship. The Ford 400 is underway. Stewart, 3 wide in turn 1 on the first lap. Leads lap 1. That's 1 bonus point toward the championship. NASCAR awarding 1 point for any driver that leads a lap and 1 point to the driver that leads the most laps on the day.
Martin Truex didn't make it easy on him, though, in getting that first lap led. He was hung with him right through turns 3 and 4.
Side by side with third. Matt Kenseth in the 17. Kurt Busch in the 22. That's Jeff Gordon in the 24 going for a slide.
Not to make it long. It's one thing about this track, it doesn't have a lot of grip, so you're going to see a lot of sliding around, even right off the bat with good tires. You see right there, Jeff Gordon kind of doing a slide job through there.
Brad Keselowski in the 2, working on Jeff for 5th position.
See Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that mix, he was extremely fast.
22 car smoking and slow off the pace. That was from 3rd place.
Guys, get ready. We got to go to the garage. Transmission's out of the car. Get it back there, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in a real vulnerable spot right there with all the cars coming. Sounded like it was a transmission, possibly.
Just hope that there's no fluids coming out of that. He had to ride around right up in the groove in 3 and 4.
NASCAR has spotters stationed all around the racetrack, no doubt looking and checking.
There's a drive shaft broke, but there's nothing with the gearbox.
That's Kurt as he turns back into the garage.
Yeah, transmission holds about 2 quarts of fluid, so that smoke you see could be fluid on the track. We don't see a caution, though.
So there's the lead, Carl Edwards. Single file back through. Casey Kane in the Ford. Didn't I hear a couple of people pick him to win this race just a little bit ago?
Wouldn't surprise any of us that you were able to do that. Been extremely fast throughout this chase.
Yeah, he was doing hospitality up here by our booth, and I talked to him just before the race. He said he had a really good car and he had a chance of making it 2 in a row.
And I was pointing out that 88 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., extremely fast. Yesterday in practice, he was very happy with this race car on the march early.
And Junior showing that he liked that high line around this racetrack. Not familiar with Homestead Miami Speedway or forgotten since last year. Progressive banking. More banking in the high lane than there is in the middle lane than there is in the low lane. And Junior was all the way up by the wall in practice.
See Tony Stewart just now coming into the picture behind Greg Biffle.
Stewart's up to 10th spot now. Remember, he started 15th.
Now listen to Tony and them. They were extremely happy as their car in practice got more laps on the tires. They felt like that their car was as good as anybody here after about 15 laps.
How about going 3 wide in turn 1 on lap 1 of a race you got a championship at stake?
He said he wasn't going to hold back any, and he proved that right from the drop of the green flag.
One of the great stories of the season on the move in that 2 car, Brad Keselowski. Came out of nowhere to put himself in championship contention over the fall.
They're trying to take that spot away from Matt Kenseth, who probably has run as well as anybody at every chase race. Certainly doesn't have the finishes to show it, though.
I talked to Nat's crew chief, Jimmy Fennig, this morning down in the garage. He said they changed about everything you could change on that race car. They were not happy with it after the final practices earlier in the week. Now, there is a chance of an isolated shower in the forecast for today. 20%, but on the radar, there are a couple out there. And the speedway has been peppered with rain at times throughout the weekend. In fact, the roadways were wet when we got here this morning.
We are in South Florida, surrounded by water here.
Yeah. It might be raining across the street and be dry here. 39, Ryan Newman. 33, Clint Boyer for 11th and 12th spot. Newman, someone who thought he would contend for the championship when this chase started, and it didn't go his way right from the start. Boyer making his last drive For the man who brought him to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Richard Childress. Boyer moving on to Michael Waltrip Racing after today. Moving up and moving back. Junior moving forward in that 88.
Well, it looks like that maybe Matt Kenseth is still going to have to make some adjustments with these changes they've made to this race car.
Yeah, he must have had a good qualifying lap, a good setup for a single lap, but right now, put some laps on the tires. Looks like his car's sliding around a little bit too much for him. You see Junior working that high lane. And when that high lane's working at a racetrack, nobody runs it better than Dale Earnhardt Jr.
We've seen him utilize that as well as anyone. As long as he stays calm, you can see him giving himself a little bit of room right there. It just seems that sometimes throughout the race, he may get in a little bit of trouble when he tries to get a little bit of extra, and that's mostly getting into the corner too hard.
And the danger when you slip a little bit when you're running that very high lane,
Not much room for error there.
that wall is right there. It gets you in a hurry. So early in the going, Tony Stewart has moved up to 10th position from 15th starting spot. Carl Edwards leading the race while Kurt Busch already back in the garage. It was just 3 laps into the race when this happened.